my name is Emily. This is my channel, Books for Life. Thank you so much for being here. So today I am going to wrap up my reading for the one readathon to rule them all. So I read 5 books for this readathon and I was able to read all 5 books, which actually I'm pretty impressed with myself with, and took some work. Like, it was kind of difficult to do, especially toward the end, but I'll talk about that as I get to them. So I will explain the prompt real quick. I will leave information to this readathon down below. There were a ton of hosts. There's a ton of information, so I'll leave all that link down below so you can check this out if you're interested in participating next year. I believe that this is a yearly readathon, but each year it has like a different theme. So this year was Hogwarts themed and I decided to be a Hufflepuff. So the first challenge was loyalty and it was worth 1 point, and that was to read a book with a strong friendship. So I chose Dead Voices by Catherine Arden for this. So this book is a continuation of a series. I guess it's going to be seasonal. Like, there was Small Spaces, which was set during the fall time, Dead Voices, which was set during the winter, and there is going to be a spring one coming out in 2020, and then a summer one that will be released sometime after that one. So I kind of like that idea that she has one for every season, but we're following the same 3 friends and they end up experiencing some paranormal activity. This is a middle grade series. The first one I read back in September, and then this one kind of picks up where that one left off, so I really don't want to tell you too much, although I am going to tell you that this took place at a ski lodge and there were some pretty creepy and scary ghosts involved. I really enjoyed this. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I listened to this on audio. It was a really fun, creepy, fast-paced read. If I was in middle school, I definitely would be a little scared, but I really did enjoy it, and I'm definitely going to continue on with the series. The next prompt was work, and this was worth 2 points, and this was to read the last book in a series, and for this prompt I chose The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. Now, this is an extremely hyped book right now on BookTube. I'm sure you've heard of it, but this is the final installment of the Folk of the Air trilogy. So we have The Cruel Prince, The Wicked King, and now The Queen of Nothing. This was a highly anticipated release for me. I was really looking forward to it. However, this was a bit of a disappointment. I think this should have been longer. This was only like 306 pages, something like that, and I wanted more. I was a little bored at times. I felt like there wasn't as much character development, especially for some of the side characters. Some of the side characters that played a really heavy role in the other 2 books, I felt like were kind of like glossed over and really didn't have any role at all here. And I just felt like this was lacking, especially for a final installment. Like, it just, it just didn't do it. I wanted more. So I was really kind of disappointed with this. I think I gave it 3 or 4 stars out of 5 still. I still really, it still held my attention and I still read this pretty quickly. Like, I wanted to know more, but now, like, that I've just had time to reflect on it, I'm just like, it could have been so much better. I think I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I'd have to double check my Goodreads. The next prompt was Justice, and this was worth 3 points, and this was to read a fantasy book with a revenge plot or subplot. And for this, I had chosen the graphic novel of Legend by Marie Lu. So I can't even really tell you what this was about. I lost interest like 20 pages in. I had no desire to keep reading. I'm really not a graphic novel fan. Like, that was a huge part of it. I actually got confused, and then I didn't care enough to figure out why I was confused. Like, I didn't care enough to like go back. So I kind of just like tried to read this as quickly as I could. I was just speed reading this. I was like, okay, let me get done with this, and just ended up like skimming it and just like moving on. If you asked me, did I really give this a try? The answer is probably no. I probably would have just DNF'd this if it wasn't for a readathon, but I read it. I think this has such a high rating because people loved this so much because they loved Legend, the original, so much. And I have no ties to Legend. I didn't care. I don't know. Like, it was quick. I read it. I gave it 2 stars on Goodreads. Am I going to read Legend now? No. I have no desire. So there's that. The next prompt was patience, and this was with 4 points, and this was to read a book with over 500 pages. And I chose The Toll by Neil Shusterman. So this was over 600 pages, so it fully met that prompt, and it took me forever. This took me multiple days to read, which kind of surprised me because the other two didn't take me that long. I think I gave this 4 stars. For November to be the end of 2 series that I have really enjoyed, their final installments were both like kind of disappointing. I felt like this threw me for a loop. I never would have anticipated where this was going. I don't even really like where it went. I felt like this was way too long. I think there were whole like sections that could have been cut. We didn't need. They really didn't help move the plot forward much. It just was like, meh. There were times where this was just like way too political, and I don't know, I feel like it lost what the first 2 books had. Does this make sense? Like, I still liked it in the sense that I wanted some closure and I wanted to know how it ended, and some of the things that happened I was like, yay, and other things I was like, man, I don't know, it was lacking. I loved the other 2. Like, the other 2 blew me out of the water. They were 5 stars. I think I gave this 4. I could make an argument to give it 3. Like, that's where I'm at with this. So it's just kind of sad. I was expecting so much more than what we got. I don't want to spoil anything. I don't know that I like the direction it went in. So then the final read was the house buddy read, and every single house, so Slytherin, Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, each had a different book. And the Hufflepuff book was The Wicked Fox by Kate Chow, and I read this in one day. I actually read it in like 4.5 hours because it was Saturday night, and I'm like, oh my god, I have one more book. So I read it in one day. I actually really, really enjoyed this. This was really fun. It wasn't what I was expecting. I don't know that fun is the right word. It was really unique. So this is based off Korean folklore, and so you have this main character, Mi Young, and she is a 9-tailed fox, and she sucks the souls of men in order to sustain herself. So every month on the full moon, she finds a man who is like despicable. Like, she chooses to go after really, really just like bad men, and she sucks their souls, and that's how she continues to survive. Her mom has been alive for centuries. They are immortal. And one day, Mi Young is in the forest, and there is this boy, and he ends up getting attacked by a goblin, and she steps in and tries to help, and she saves him. In the process, though, she loses her bead, and this bead is like kind of like her fox soul, and she really needs this to survive. And so this sends them on like this, this kind of like journey together. She is acclimating to a new school, and he kind of befriends her, and she really wants nothing to do with him, and he is like that persistent, cute, charming guy that just like keeps showing up and doesn't give up, and eventually they have a really nice friendship. And I just really liked their dynamic. I liked the story. I thought the family dynamics were really interesting. They were all very different. So like the main male protagonist, he was exceptionally close with his grandmother. His mom and dad left him when he was young. She was left by her father when she was young, and is being raised by her mother. Her mother is extremely strict. And then you have another friend who is in a really strong, loving household. So it was just kind of neat to see like the different family dynamics and the relationship between like the main male protagonist and his grandmother. Like, it was such a sweet relationship. I loved that. I thought this was a really, engaging story. Like, I was able to just hammer this out, and it has to be entertaining if you're going to sit down and hammer this out in like no time. So I gave this 4 stars. It was really good. So these are all the books that I read for this readathon plus Dead Voices. Overall, it was a success. I read what I set out to read. So I will have a separate wrap-up video for all the other books that I read during the month of November, so be on the lookout for that. It should be coming soon. But thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give a thumbs up and hit subscribe. And let me know in the comments down below if you participated, how well you did, and if you've read any of these books, what your thoughts were on them, if we agreed or if we disagreed. All right, I'll be back with more bookish videos soon. As always, keep reading!